I'm sure that you have questions and comments, and both of speakers, Darius and Laura. Topics were a little bit similar, but presentations very different. Okay, please.
Yes, Dolly's vote. Forgot the technology. Now my question will sound more authoritative. I know you're familiar with Merleau-Ponty, and my question to you is given your paper, how would you see the difference between Algus's work and Merleau-Ponty? Same issue, aesthetics.
First of all, I want to say that thanks to Algis Mickūnas, because he reintroduced, I think, Husserl's phenomenology into Lithuania, because the phenomenology in Lithuania was more related with Heidegger's name or even with Merleau-Ponty. But I think that Algis shows us he studied very good Husserl's phenomenology, but he is not strict Husserlian, like understood now some people to know Husserl in like books of Husserl. I think for me, Algis' approach was interesting as a practice of phenomenology. That I can say that Algis' position or approach is Husserlian or more Merleau-Pontian. But I think for speaking about aesthetic and erotic, yes, we can find, and in this description I find many similarities with Merleau-Ponty position about aesthetics, how to understand aesthetic in phenomenological way. But from other side, I see some influence of Heidegger or Eugen Fink, because this critic, and my question was to Algis is about intentionality, how to understand, how we can understand intentionality now, because in his books about aesthetic, I found some articles where Algis say that aesthetic is beyond intentionality, that we can describe aesthetic atmosphere or mood in intentional way. I think is not true, or I discuss with this position, because I think that now we can understand intentionality not as a relation between subject and object. We can describe moods, atmospheres, and rhythms in like intentional events or intentional experiences. That was my point.
Yeah, I have questions for both, but different. For Jurga, for Laura. Sorry, not for Jurga. For Laura, because it's my fault. For Laura, you you present, on my opinion, Nietzsche in the context of Mickūnas as very romantic and I would say harmonious thinker, but okay, I will opposite you and I would say that Nietzsche has hysteria about female and women, and he was completely neurotic. He was completely neurotic. Just I will return to this language mixed neurotic and erotic. He was completely neurotic in his approach to the sexual relations, and there are endless quotes about his masks, how he hates women. And but in a way there is the point for the discussion about the role of furore, about the role of rage, about the role of hysteria in the erotic relations. Do you think that hysteria could be hysteria erotic, not harmonious, but hysteric? hysteric approach to the eros. And for Darius, you spoke a lot of rhythms. What do you think about arrhythmic aesthetics? Could be aesthetics arrhythmic? Thank you.
It's strange to talk about hysteria. No, I don't think so that Elgis would agree with that historical
I'm
moment.
asking you, not Elgis.
Yes, but yes, I was comparing Nietzsche and Elgis on that plan of Dionysian, because, for example, Dionysian cult was related with orgiastic orgies, and Elgis is talking about mythical consciousness, which is very related to that, these rhythms, cosmic consciousness. So in this moment, I was relating Nietzsche and Elgis, but of course, when I was talking about Bomans, I said that Elgis is more open to that cosmic plan than Nietzsche, because he was afraid of Bomans and hated.
So you don't find place for the Hysterian cosmos?
No, I don't think so. But I need time to think about it.
Dalo, what do you think about arrhythmic?
Yes, I think when we speak about rhythm is basic for involvement, to be involved in the world. And if I don't know if it's possible to speak up about arrhythmic in aesthetic or even if arrhythmic is rhythmic, because I think rhythm give us some experience to be together with other in the dance, when we are feeling the rhythm as a possibility to share some movement. And yeah, I don't know how to say about arrhythmic. I think yeah, is for dance I need rhythm. I can dance rhythm. For involvement, I think dance is very good example for to understand what we need to be together, to move together with others.
Thank you. More questions? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think there's no Nietzsche without Lou Salome. I think when Lou turned him down for Paul Reed, that's when Nietzsche was born. So I've always believed that, and I always wish I would like to meet Fred, for sure, Fred Nietzsche, but I would rather meet Lou because of the power she had over very influential men. She must have been amazing. But my question to you is, John Lennon once said that he and Paul McCartney formed the Beatles to meet girls. And he said everything men do is to impress girls. So, do you think Algis's work on eroticism is to impress girls?
And that's hysterical.
Maybe. And I know that he dedicated his book to his wife. Maybe he wanted to make impression for his wife.
Get out of the doghouse, as we say in America.
I think Elgis can explain.
Yes, maybe it is.
Yeah, Jim does always make these fascinating distinctions that are totally irrelevant. I mean, hysteria. Well, one of my points in about women is the terrible beauty and her reflective force. Salome, the terrible
Right.
beauty. She is so terrible that you cannot escape, and you're so attracted. I mean, she's like a fury, hysteria, and you say, I just can't get away from her. I want her,
So,
and I hope she's with me.
yeah, women need to understand it, because everybody from them try to be pleasure for you, very romantic.
Oh, no, no,
They
no.
need
I mean,
women
there's
to
no-
be glorious,
Oh.
terrible.
No. I mean, the pleasure can be very terrifying. And the terror can be very painfully pleasant. It's not you know, gentle and smooth and oily, not at all. I mean, my now great dream, because Eric talked about cosmology, and I wrote a paper on the cosmic terror. It's a very erotic. In 5 billion years, Andromeda will clash with our galaxy. I mean, the forces, the dynamics, the solar, stellar winds tearing at each other. That's fantastic. I want to be there. I know I will not, but boy, look at that star coming, clashing with our sun. Wouldn't that be fantastic and be right in the middle of it? And disappear into that. That is the complete passion, but it's totally terrifying. And at the same time saying, I want to be there, okay. That's my errors, okay. There's none, because when I talk about women, it has nothing to do with gentleness. They are bloodthirsty. They're devouring. They demand men's heads. I said, yeah, take my head too, okay. So, you know, there's one level that you can read the erotic world, the cosmic eros, but there is the galactic forces, the cosmic forces that are just as erotic and passionate and terrifying. Oh, one more point. We are, in all our media, I mean contemporary media like movies, like astrophysics, what are we doing? We are terrified. What if there's nothing else but us? So we're sending rockets, we have telescopes looking for the others. Maybe Andromeda will destroy us, but in 100 billion years, some entities will have spaceships and they will come and they will discover a little ring. Ah, there must have been entities who were here, so we will be remembered. Otherwise, nothing. I mean, all the billions of dollars we spend, maybe on the planet, 7 light years away, there's a little wiggle from the solar, the gravitation. There might be a planet distant, the same distance from our sun as we are. Maybe there is life. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I mean, we are terrified, and yet we're passionately engaged in this terror. I mean, we spend fortunes to discover that maybe this terror will not be real, okay? But we're very interested. So that's my erotic dimension. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to stress one thing more, that for Algis, erotic is not only relation with women, it's not sexual relation at all, because you can have erotic relation with our world, with animals, with nature in general. That because I think that was important for me to stress this similarity between aesthetic and erotic, because beauty of nature, of the cosmos, of the world, that is erotic attraction too.
Girls like puppy dogs.
Thank you.
Al understands that.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Let us-
want to intrude what I really find erotic in what we talk about, because basically we talk about love, passion, eros within the context of philosophy, which is rational language. So what I find really erotic is the resistance to that rational language and resistance to academic terminology and philosophical language as such, which resists. And I want to ask, Algis, would you really say that your language is a resistance to the rhetoric of science in a way?
Two things. What I do that some phenomenologists object to, I do what strict phenomenology requires. First, if somebody has a theory, for example, psychology has a theory, inner feelings, outer body, I will say first, I will not simply say, like many phenomenologists do, this is not this, not that, but it is this. I say, no. Let me show you in a very precise argument that the dual theory does not hold. No matter how you push it, it will fall apart. That's the first step in phenomenology. When one raises the question of meaning and tries to explain it empirically, I say, okay, let's look what empiricism would have, strictly speaking. See, I do not, as a phenomenologist, allow what I call backdoor philosophy, like Hume. There's no self, there is no I, there's only impressions. And I said, my impressions. Well, where did you get this my? That is not allowed by your theory. So don't introduce something that your theory cannot allow. And so phenomenology's first step is very precise and strict demonstration that certain theories make no sense. And yet they assume what they're trying to explain without being to explain. So eros, for example, the expressivity that we are, the passion that we engage in with each other, whether the expressivity is attraction or repulsion, it is still expressivity. And we cannot deny that, and no explanation can overcome it. And yet we find it not just in our life, we find it in the world. The world is very dynamic, very attractive, very scary. Not just bland material impulses or impression. And we live by that. And so that is why when we do phenomenology, I'm sorry, I'm giving a little talk. When we do phenomenology, we don't simply say, well, they are wrong, and we will show you what we really can demonstrate, what we can show you. First, we show you that your thesis, I mean, I discussed this with the biologists, geneticists, and all of that, that your thesis, if I accept it and push it all the way to the principle, in principle, what your thesis says, you will fall apart. It will become absurd. And so that is why the passion, what do you call it, erotic, the cosmic passion, is not ours. We are captured by it. I'm captured by this glorious event that will happen in 5 billion years, terrifying, and yet it is the solar, the stellar passion, the energies flowing, dynamics, in which I am involved. I cannot escape it. I can understand. It is not irrational. You see, what we have done, we have forgotten the logos question. We made rationality into simple logistics, very narrow. We have forgotten the ontological basis of rationality. And what I push it is cosmic basis of rationality. Because one more point, and I will quit forever. See, Eric talked about, scientists talking about, we get everything as a past, what we check, from the Andromeda, the light waves, they come, and what we see is from the past. But the world, the cosmos, the universe, am I boring you?
No.
Ontologically speaking, is not a sum of things, not a sum of objects. See, my teacher, venerable teacher, Eugen Fink in Freiburg, once in his seminars told us, if you understood everything, if you understood all the relationships among things, if you understood every idea about all the things, if you understood being, and if you were being itself, you will not come 1 micron closer to understanding the world. What? And what does that mean? The argument is this. Borges argued for that. Even Russell understood the problematic, because Eugen Fink explored that with us and raised a question. So we say that, when I talk to astronomers, we say that universe began 13.5 billion years ago. And from then, the universe unfolded. Then you raise the question, is there anything more than the universe? No. There cannot be anything more. So how can you say, so that means space and time and movement as universe is unfolding from past to present to future. In what time is it unfolding? We have not yet understood time. Cosmic time. So that is, for me, that's the problematic of philosophy. How to understand the cosmos, and not as sum of things, not as the whole universe unfolding in time, and from now, from past to present to future, but in what time, which is no longer one after the other. That is the cosmic question. Okay, I shut up.
Thank you so much for that.
Okay, now we have 2 more questions, Darius and then Joy.
I want to say that we have break.
Yeah, coffee break. We can have the short coffee break, 15 minutes, or we can discuss during the coffee break. Everyone is invited.